Welcome back to True Crime Tales. Today's story begins in Paris, on a warm Monday morning, August 21st, 1911. As the city rushed into a new workday, three men quietly stepped out of the Louvre Museum. Wrapped in a plain white cloth, held tightly in their hands, was something far more valuable than anyone around them could imagine. They walked with calm, purposeful steps toward the 8:45 a.m. train, boarded and disappeared. No alarms, no panic. No one even noticed what was missing. Hours later, the truth shook the world. The Mona Lisa had vanished. But to understand why this theft became one of history's most famous crimes, we have to travel back more than 400 years into the mind of a man unlike any other, Leonardo da Vinci. In 1503, this painter, inventor, engineer, scientist, and anatomist began working on a portrait of a woman. A portrait he couldn't let go of, one he kept perfecting for years. A masterpiece that would one day become the world's most recognized face. But who was she? For centuries, theories swirled. Some claimed she was a noblewoman. Some said Leonardo's secret lover. The strangest theory of all was that the painting was a disguised self-portrait of Leonardo himself. But documents discovered in 2004 finally gave us the truth. The woman was Lisa Gutredini, a 24-year-old Florentine woman married to a silk merchant named Francesco Gio. From that came her names, Mona Lisa meaning Lady Lisa and La Gioconda, meaning the cheerful one. Ironically, she painted that name with a smile the world still can't explain. So how did an Italian woman painted by an Italian artist end up in France? In 1516, the King of France invited Leonardo to live in his palace. Leonardo brought several artworks with him, including the Mona Lisa. At the time, he still wasn't finished with it. He would study the painting, adjust shadows, soften lines, and experiment with the mysterious smile for more than 15 years. When Leonardo died in France in 1519, the king kept the painting. It entered the royal collection, and centuries later, found its home in the Louvre. At first glance, Mona Lisa is small, not an enormous royal painting, not a dramatic scene from mythology, just a half-length portrait of a woman, painted on poplar wood. So why is it the most famous painting on earth? The power lies in Leonardo's technique, sfumato, the art of blending shadows and light so smoothly that you can't see a single brushstroke. If you look at her mouth directly, the smile fades. Look into her eyes, and the smile appears again. Glance away slightly, and she seems alive. Leonardo didn't just paint a smile, he engineered an illusion. His obsession went deeper than art. He dissected human faces in Florentine hospitals to study muscles and nerves. He wrote about how the smallest, almost invisible muscles shape human emotion. He even compared the facial muscles of humans to horses, just to decode expression. The Mona Lisa's smile wasn't an accident. It was the result of genius mixed with obsession. But here's where the story takes an unexpected twist. The Mona Lisa might not be one painting, there may be two. In 1504, the artist Raphael created a sketch of the Mona Lisa showing architectural pillars behind her, pillars that do not appear in the version we see in the Louvre. In 1914, a mysterious painting surfaced in England, known today as the Isleworth Mona Lisa. The woman looks younger, the background includes those pillars, and the expression is clearer, less mysterious. Some experts believe this was Leonardo's earlier version. Others say the background was finished later by one of his students. To this day, the truth is still disputed, but the world wouldn't truly know the Mona Lisa until that morning in 1911, the day she disappeared. The thief was Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman who had previously worked at the Louvre. He believed the Mona Lisa belonged to Italy, not France. One night, he hid inside the museum, waited until the early morning, removed the painting from its frame, wrapped it in a cloth, and walked out with it under his coat. For 2 years, he kept the world's most wanted object hidden in his small apartment. Detectives searched everywhere. Newspapers published theories. Even Picasso was questioned. But no one suspected the quiet Italian glazier who kept the painting tucked inside a wooden trunk beneath his bed. When Vincenzo finally tried to sell the painting to an Italian art dealer in Florence, he was caught. He served 6 months in prison. The painting was returned to the Louvre in 1914, this time behind thick glass and strict security. And here is the strangest twist of all. Before the theft, the Mona Lisa was admired, but not world famous. It was the heist that turned her into a global icon. The story of the missing smile was irresistible. The mystery, the drama, the obsession, the crime. Today, she sits behind bulletproof glass, protected by guards, climate control, and millions of curious eyes every year. Yet her smile remains as puzzling as it was 5 centuries ago. This is the story of the world's most famous woman who never said a word, yet captured the entire world. If you enjoyed this episode of True Crime Tales, join us for the next story as we uncover the dark journey of the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, every masterpiece has a secret.